Hello, we have a very rare treat for you today, which is the Tier 9 top tier. This almost never happens. It should happen more often with the new patch coming out tomorrow, but for now, yes, we are Tier 9s and we're top tier. I'm playing with Mr. Rustycan and his Kronstadt, and I'm playing the Fletcher. Fletcher is a good boat at Tier 9 if you're top tier, and if they're not using any of the new DDs. Luckily they aren't, because it's kind of power creep to hell right now. Now they have two Musashis. We only have one, which is less than ideal.
Battle starts.
And their cruisers are a bit tankier. Well, not really, since it's rusty, but yeah. And lots of torque boats too. But yeah, Fletcher game. Fletcher can actually do a lot of work if you make it... I was about to say, if you make it work, which is a terrible sentence. The Fletcher can actually do a lot of work if you're top tier and know what you're doing. Here we go. RPF is pointing towards B. Of course it is. So we're going to fast forward a wee bit. And right here, I have the
Engine boost activated.
wherewithal to actually have an escape plan ready. I always say have an escape plan for situations like this, which is, if you're radared right now, what would you do? And in my case, I would go forward and go into this island behind B, where I hopefully won't get shot at from this side. Now, why am I saying this? Because it's actually pretty relevant. Because as soon as the cap is contested, well, almost as soon as the cap is contested, yep, see, there's a Tashkent, there's the radar. Now, I should have been pointing my boat the other way. That was a mistake on my part, but you can't win it all. There we go. They shoot at us a little bit, but luckily, as I said, escape plan behind the island. I start firing some shots at the Tashkent, and I just go around a little bit because I was trying to figure out where he was going. There we go. We have two sets of 10 out. They're slightly overlapped, so hopefully the Baltimore won't have anywhere to run because he's pointing forward, which is great against enemy fire, but he's not going to be able to dodge any torps, especially if they're layered like that. And see, there we go. And actually go broadside onto the Musashi, because if it fires AP at me, it'll probably overpin instead of full pin. They'll be taken out entirely with the next patch, which is nice. There we go. The Baltimore now can't actually see me anymore.
Torpedoes to starboard.
And his radar's out, so I consider shooting at him a little bit, but he's going to start reversing as soon as there's trouble, so I'm not going to be able to do significant damage, and he's also just going to... It's just going to reveal my position. The Fletcher fires torps at the Tashkent, which is questionable, because the Tashkent is very damn fast. Probably faster than the Fletcher torps anyway. But the important thing is that he's zoned out of the cap, which is good. It means we can sit in here and take it. Now, the Fletcher stays a little too long. I would have left by now, but... Because as I said before, the Tashkent is now at a distance, and distance is where Russian DDs excel. So once he got to about 6.5 kilometers, I would have stopped shooting and gotten into cover. But there we go. We have the cap. And the enemy actually isn't contesting A at all, which is fine by me. I consider shooting at the Tashkent, but he's currently dodging stuff anyway, so there's really no reason to try doing that. I'm not really in a crossfire pattern with him. I'm just kind of forward and he's to the side, so I'm probably not going to hit anything anyway, and once again it will give away my position. That York, however, looks ripe for torpedoes. So I look and see what the Baltimore is doing. He's still reversing, so I'm not worried about him. And also to give the York time to maneuver so I can see what he's doing. I expect he's going to turn into angle against the shells coming, but instead he turns out, so those torps are really off target and they aren't really going to hit anything, which is unfortunate. But luckily the Fletcher reload is much more forgiving than the Benson, and your torps will be back soon enough. Right there you can see me considering trying to kill the Baltimore with my guns. But I ultimately decide not to. I want to keep this York spotted. Because if my battleships can kill him, then that's one less set of guns shooting at us. I also want to keep the Baltimore spotted too, so I can force him out from the cap, because I don't want him radaring again in case we need to go back in to get it. And I was excited right there because it looked like the York was about to get hit in the ass, but sadly he didn't. There we go, the York is nice and zoned. He's currently driving out, and it's going to take him forever to actually reverse to come back in. Actually lose track of the Baltimore, which is unfortunate. In a second I'm going to turn out to try and find him again. Especially when I see people are actually shooting at him. Now looking at see, I was like, is Rusty going to get nailed? But he didn't, thankfully. Luckily the Fletcher went C, so it along with the Kiev are currently keeping them from capping C, which is perfect. There we go. York is still seen, so I'm still zoning him. Baltimore I'm still zoning too. Same with the Musashi. Make sure they can't actually come in to oppose us. Because remember, as long as they're running away, they're not really contributing anything to their team. Yep, we're still zoning them quite well. And those torps are actually speculative on the Musashi. He's probably not going to hit them, but by the time I actually get in position to launch more sets, then that tube will probably be reloaded. So I decided just to do it just to see what happens. Maybe it'll work. Probably won't, but maybe. And I see these guys. They're currently all deathballing over there. And you know what they say about death balls and torpedoes. They're our favorites. So we put torps on the Musashi because the Musashi is currently reversing, and is probably going to keep doing so because that's how Musashi players play. For a second there, I mistake which end of the Seattle is pointed forward or back. So let me go ahead and start hitting him in the butt because I'm petulant and I don't like that he has radar. As you can see from that, the torp actually does hit the Musashi over there, which is lovely. There we go, we have smoke up, the Seattle's out of range, so now we go ahead and start flinging the HE at the Musashi. He's going to eat 2 torps, luckily. There we go, 2 lovely torps, now we're at 62k damage. And luckily it's such a whopping big target that all I can do is just spam HE and I'll hit most of the time, even if a lot of them are shattering due to the fact that he's a tier 9 battleship and I don't have IFHE. And I see the Gneisenau. Gneisenau is a much softer target, and I very much would like to spam him with HE instead. Luckily our guys are taking care of the Musashi. The Musashi's blowing damage control, it has a permanent fire right now, it's going down soon. So I decided to just farm this Gneisenau a bit. We have all 3 caps, no one's really pushing in. The York is currently barely recovered on that, so it's going to take them a while to get here, and when they do, they're going to have to face off against our entire team. And that volley had a really unfortunate habit of hitting the turrets and shattering, which makes me sad, but that's okay. So yeah, but the Gneisenau is just about headed up to here with me, and he wants to come and teach me a lesson. The only problem with a solo push in a battleship is that he'll only teach me a lesson if I let him, and I have no intention of letting him. So yep, we get torps out, we keep firing. And you can see from that coverage is that I covered, there we go. Is that I pretty much covered the entire channel right here, so if he maneuvered in any way, he would still get hit by the torps. Because I want him to blow damage control, because I want to start a fire. And blow the damage control, he does. That was only 1 tick of flooding. So I start turning and going because the smoke is about to disappear. And now right there I get behind the smoke screen, but sadly isn't quick enough for him to not get a aimed salvo on me. I'd rather have waited until I got undetected and then force him to his already bad dispersion even worse, but that's okay. My smoke screen disappears, but he thought I was running, so he turns his guns towards my guys there, and that gives me enough time to get behind the island, and he doesn't hit a damn thing. There we go, and I started a permanent fire on him, so we're having fun with that. We have about 92k damage so far, which is lovely on a Fletcher. I know that there's those lunatics who can get like 200k or whatever. That's fine, have a cookie. For me, the Fletchers is pretty good. Alright, now I blow smoke because I want to wait until my torps to reload. I still have 20 seconds on them, and I want to finish off this Gneisenau. Luckily, the Gneisenau doesn't actually have hydroacoustic search yet. You only get that when you're in the Bismarck, so I need not fear his guns unless he gets really close. And Gneisenau isn't nearly that fast. There we go. Our torps are reloaded. I go ahead and fire because he's going to be cautious because he's expecting me to fire torps at him. There we go. We started our fire. And luckily he doesn't actually turn quick enough and he takes it right in the magazine.
Enemy battleship sunk.
Yeah, it's one dead Gneisenau and we have 112,000 damage. Now someone just took A. It's probably the DD.
Engine boost deactivated.
And I want to go kill it because it's the Tashkent. It may have healed, but it's still, well, maybe not kill it. It's kind of hard to kill a Tashkent if it doesn't want to let you. But I want to zone him away so he doesn't spam my battleships until we win at least, because we're about to win. We have 962 points and they have 102. There's no way we're losing this. There we go. RPF is pointing that away. So I know he's over there. Because see, 2 cruisers, 2 battleships. Only one left there is a Tashkent, so my RPF has to be pointing at him, and he's down here somewhere. And he'll have a nice little detected icon there, so he knows that I'm onto him. And my concealment's better, so if I see him, then that means I'll be able to keep track of him for our ships. They aren't going to be able to kill him, but they'll be able to keep him from spamming them at least. Now around now, when our ships are dying a bit, I decide that A might actually be a better idea. Tashkent's still over there, so I'm still keeping an eye on him. And I decided to throw out some speculative torps just because why not. And then it turns, which is kind of weird since he's only there. I guess maybe there's a delay. But that's fine, we win regardless.